how to become more attractive to women. Today I'm going to give you 3 tips that will make you instantly more attractive in your communication with women, so women get interested in you and stay interested in you. The first one is a little bit unusual. It's called quality male friends. You might say, David, what on earth do quality male friends have to do with my interactions with women? I'm going to tell you. If you don't spend enough time with quality male friends, you're not going to be as confident as you possibly could be. You won't be as grounded. You won't be as free in your expression because your need for love and connection isn't met. If your need for love and connection isn't met sufficiently, which comes in part through quality male friends, it's going to be impossible for you to communicate your personality authentically and effectively in your interactions with women. Jordan Peterson says, we outsource our sanity. Sanity is not just something that resides within you. And I had a 3-hour live coaching call with the clients yesterday where we talked about that you just have to be around your male friends. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you talk about business, you smoke a cigar, you go to the gym together, you go and meet women together. It is completely irrelevant. You can play the PlayStation for all I know. But simply by being next to them, your brain releases dopamine, testosterone, oxytocin, from my bro science-y understanding. Your neurochemistry changes when you're in the company of quality male friends. Now, they have to be quality. They can't just be any friends. And if you live in the US, for example, and you're doing well in your career or your business, then you probably have friends that are spread all across the US. Or if you live in Europe, they might live in different countries. You need a local network of quality male friends. Having a global network is amazing, and that's fantastic, but you need friends that you see on a weekly basis, and it has to be quality contact. It has to be quality contact because if you feel worse after spending time with them, there's no use in it. One of my clients, he spent last Friday with some of his friends, but they aren't actually good friends. They're not the ones who have the same values in common. Ask yourself, how do I feel after I spend time with them? Do I feel more energized or do I feel less energized? Do I feel naturally drawn to them? And sometimes you can logically evaluate as to what led to you being attracted to them, not in an intimate way, but from a friendship perspective. And sometimes it's more intuitive. Sometimes there's going to be friends who might not be as successful as you are, but they just have really beautiful energy. They're doing really good in terms of who they are as a person. I have friends like that aren't successful on paper, but they have amazing energy. They're always positive. They're always encouraging. They're super loyal. And that's ultimately what you're looking for. So how can you find these quality friends? Well, one is you start going to the gym, which you're probably already doing, and then you ask these dudes out for coffee. And you call them bro, so they know that you don't want to suck their dick. It's important. So you simply say, hey bro. So you talk to them in the gym, would you mind spotting me? You spot them, you start having a conversation. And you also understand that 9 out of 10 dudes won't be good for a friendship because your values won't be aligned enough. That's perfectly fine. But the ones that will end up in further conversations with you, down the friendship funnel, if you will, they will absolutely be worth it. So ask dudes out in the gym. Go to jiu-jitsu gyms, other martial arts gyms. Go to the golf course. Go to an expensive gym. Maybe buy an expensive gym membership. Because if you want to go into a pre-selected environment where there's guys who are doing naturally better in their career or their business, they're paying more. I have clients in London who are paying $6,000 for a gym. And there's a different type of audience in that type of a gym. So pay at least a couple $100 a month if you can afford it. If not, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing that well yet, just ask dudes out in the gym because at the very least, they have good habits. At the very least, you can ensure that they have good habits. Maybe you should lower the camera a little bit, make sure that there's not too much dead space. At the very least, you can ensure that they don't have bad habits or they have a lot less. They are taking care of their body already. And that's a unique trait because that person must be disciplined enough. Now, you don't want to be with those dudes who are just juice themselves up. You still want to further evaluate. But at the core, you have to understand that your happiness as well as your confidence in part depends on your network and the people you spend time with on a weekly basis. It is not enough to have a global network or a network of friends that are living in other parts of the US, for example, or in several hours away. You need them locally. And that means you have to create a new network. Good news is there are plenty of men out there who'd love to be in a friendship with you right now, but they're not watching this video. They're not privileged enough to watch this video right now, so they're not being given the information about proactivity. You have to assume the responsibility for creating the friendships you want in your life. Mark my words, very few things in your life will have a similarly positive impact on your day-to-day happiness as quality friendships. Now, in the beginning, when you're just getting to know one another, you won't feel this deep sense of connectedness yet. Fine. But how do you get there? By going through the initial discomfort. You have to understand that it takes time to build it, but not just time. It takes depth of experiences and a degree of openness from your side, because most men will miss out on a shit ton of amazing friendships or a couple of core friendships because they don't assume comfort in the beginning. When you speak to people, same with women by the way, you should assume a degree of familiarity. You should assume a degree of familiarity and comfort and a pre-existing relationship. That's the good thing about teasing, by the way. If you tease each other, that implies a sense of pre-existing relationship. So go out of your way to make friendships. Very few things will improve your sense of happiness, your sense of groundedness and connectedness to this beautiful world, like spending time in the company of quality male friends. Really? Why are you watching so much social media? Why are you scrolling for half an hour or an hour a day on social media? You might be crushing in a career or business, but then you're alone at home in your fancy house, your fancy apartment, and you're just on social media and you're doom scrolling. Why? Not because you have an addiction to scrolling, not because there's anything inherently wrong with you, but because your need for love and connection isn't met. If your need for love and connection was sufficiently met, then you'd be out with your friends. You'd be in the gym with them. They'd be over at your place. You'd be playing PlayStation together. You'd be talking business. You'd be having dinner together. We are not meant to be alone. One of the greatest myths in society is the idea that you should learn to be okay by yourself. Nonsense. Our brain was shaped into its current form and current function around 300,000 years ago when we were spending time with men, like 100 to 200 other tribal members, men and women. We had people around us 24/7. And being an introvert back in the day simply meant that they were over there and I'm over here. Walk over there to the left a little bit. You have to be careful there. But it is crucial to understand that we were never meant to be alone. We were never supposed to just be a loner or an introvert. That concept does not exist in nature. It is not a concept that exists in nature because you are not able to reproduce by yourself. You need other men to go hunt with. You need other men to protect you from evil tribes. You need other men to provide protections from animals. Being an introvert does not exist in nature. Now, the only scientifically documented difference between an introvert and an extrovert, because you might say, David, I'm very much an introvert. The only scientifically documented difference is that introverts get more dopamine from social interactions than extroverts. Seems a little bit counterintuitive, but it simply means that you're satiated quicker and you need less. It doesn't mean that you don't need social contact, or people sometimes say, well, extroverts gain energy from social interactions, introverts lose it. Nonsense, because that taken to its logical conclusion would mean that introverts are best locked up in a basement with zero social contact whatsoever. That evidently isn't the case. Everybody needs social contact, you just need a little bit less. And you want more time by yourself. But by yourself doesn't mean being entirely isolated. You still need a sufficient amount of social contact, which one comes from having a quality woman in your life. That's what we're talking about here. But it also comes from having quality men in your life. Make an effort. You can visualize not only your financial goals, your health goals, but you can absolutely also visualize what it'll be like to have 1 or 2 or 3 more amazing friends. They are out there. 9 out of 10 men you're going to meet will not be right for you. Your personalities won't align, your values won't be aligned, but there's a couple that are absolutely worth it. And your happiness will go up tremendously. 2 years ago, Fernando and I briefly moved to Dubai, rented an apartment for a year, and we came back after 1 month. Why? Because I missed my friends. That was the God's honest truth. And Dubai is amazing. I think it's a fantastic place. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'd still be there if I would have brought my friends. And people might say, yeah, but David, you can make new friends. Isn't that what you're teaching? Yeah, fair enough, true. but I have such amazing friends that I've cultivated. And I realized, well, okay, the weather, well, I do want better weather, but I can just fly to Spain once a month. I can fly to Italy. I can fly to Miami, which is what I'm gonna do in December. Be very careful there. So I realized that ultimately what contributes to my happiness is the people you see on a weekly basis. And are they truly aligned with where you wanna go? Do they make you feel good? That is the first thing. That will make you more attractive. If you spend time around the right men who are truly confident, ideally some who are good with women. And in my program, I connect men in the US. We have a global network of high-performing individuals. So that's awesome. But there's other networks as well. Just find them. Go and find them yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing that's gonna make you attractive to women is being different. Standing out makes you more attractive if you stand out in a positive way. People say, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Nonsense, there absolutely is. So you want to stand out in the right way. You want to stand out in a socially calibrated manner. And the way you do that is by communicating more polarizingly and more honestly. If you start saying the things you actually think, you actually believe, and you stop filtering your communication so much, you will naturally stand out. To be attractive, in other words, to create attraction, you have to create emotional spikes. The way you do that is by not filtering and by not being so PC in your communication. You will be shocked by how excited women will get as a result of your honest and unfiltered communication. If you start being radically honest and you say what you're not supposed to say, the things that everybody else is thinking, and you do say it, you will create really intense emotional reactions. Whether she's this emotionally engaged or this emotionally engaged on the first date depends entirely on your communication. One of the most important things you gotta do is remove the filters from it. You are way too filtered. Remove the filters from your communication. Your professional life, you've learned that you have to be filtered. Fair enough. But that does not apply in a dating context. Yes, at work, you're not supposed to be silly and fun and playful, and you're not supposed to share politically incorrect opinions. But that's exactly what you're meant to do on a date. Become more radically honest. Yes, there are tools that go way beyond that. If you want me to help you personally, find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife, apply for a free initial consultation call. Talk soon.